Strength training for fat loss with Melissa Neill, over 40, right? Great advice to start off with. Let's check out the rest of the video.
Many women tell me they're not getting results. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to lift weights to get the best bang for your buck. Hello, fam.
Okay, let's skip to the part that matters most.
First thing you want to be thinking about is where you're going to be working out. And you can work out at home or at the gym. There are pros and cons.
So again, it's pretty much all pros to go to the gym, not as pros from a results standpoint to work out at home, unless you have a huge amount of equipment and things. And the only reason I say that is because the better environment you are in to get results, i.e. the more equipment you have, the more barbells, dumbbells, all those things will give you more variety and much heavier weights that you can lift and progress and achieve more results.
Cons for each option. When I take you through the actual exercises, they can apply to doing them at home or at the gym.
Because results, you're going to get results with the most amount of resistance to progress your body. So you're not going to build a ton of muscle if you're a woman, even a man, especially if you're not taking stuff. So you need to go to a place or an environment that has the equipment so you can maximize the volumes of your sets and reps and constantly push yourself, be in an environment of positive people, as well as, if you buy equipment at home and you only buy 30-pound dumbbells, once you are at a point that 30-pound dumbbells are no longer heavy for you and you can do 15, 20, 30 reps with them, you need to change that. And obviously what you do for your legs are going to be much stronger than what you can do for your chest or your back or other things. So the more equipment you have, you're always going to get better results in the gym.
It doesn't really matter. The main thing is...
Granted, if you have a gym membership and you never use it, it won't get you good results. But if you love working out at home and you're going to use that, the place that you go and utilize the most is going to always be more effective.
Is you've got to pick the one that's going to work for you. So
let's skip through this.
Glute bands, because
so here's stuff on bands and band training. In general, bands basically suck. They're great for rehab. They're good if you don't have anything else. But if you have other resistance that's far better and far heavier, then arguably those things are going to be much better than band training. There are some band training that's, like I said, great for rehab or at home or minimal. But if you have access to cables and machines and all these things, they're going to be far better than any band out there.
Kind of gives you a lot more options, and you can use these bands, you can use glute bands as a way of actually really getting extra resistance when you need it. How often do you need to be working out? Well, to see results, you really need to be working 3 or 4 times a week. You can work...
So you're going to get results, and research shows you're going to get results if you work out just 1 day a week, if you don't work out at all, right? Are there the results that you want, like a fat loss and changing your body aesthetically speaking? So that requires more frequency, so 3 to 4 days a week. The amount of results that you'll get working out 1 day versus 3 days is exponentially greater, right? So 3 to 4 days a week, like she said, is going to get you far better results from the stuff that most people want, and that's aesthetics. They want to look prettier, look better in the mirror, lose more fat, get leaner, tighter, all that stuff, which basically just means lose more fat and obviously put on muscle to put your body tighter. So yes, 3 to 4 days a week is optimal.
5 times a week. I actually used to work out 5 times a week, and I pulled it back to 4 times a week. The reason being is when your muscle grows...
So she's basically going to say, like, rest and recovery are very important. You don't need more to get the results. Obviously, if you adjust your diet and nutrition, that's going to get you the better results from looking better, because it's easier to monitor a healthy diet. It's really, or not necessarily easier to monitor a healthy diet, but like if you make adjustments in your diet, you're going to get far better results from a looks in the mirror type stuff. If you have a bad diet and you work out hard, it doesn't really matter, because your bad diet's going to still make you overweight and not as happy. You're obviously going to put on muscle, all that stuff, but it's going to be hidden by all the food intake that you're consuming. So let's scroll through this. Let's go to the most replayed stuff here.
Love a program where you've got all.
So she obviously has a program. We all have programs. If you want a program, I offer a 100% free one where you can get it. We do everything, promise, guarantee the results. We will keep working with you until you achieve all your results, all that stuff. So let's skip through this, and go into the key compound lifts.
Weights as the first thing you do when you step inside the gym or your home.
So she's talking about lifting weights right away. It doesn't matter if you lift weights before. Sometimes I do cardio first only because I know I won't do cardio if I lift weights. I love lifting weights, so I'll always lift weights, but I won't always do cardio. So it doesn't really matter. Obviously, there are some benefits to lifting weights first versus not lifting weights first, and it also matters based off your goal, right? What are you trying to achieve? So yes, ideally, there's also a time of day that's better to lift weights versus not. But again, it's when are you going to do it and when are you going to get it done? That matters more than the optimal time frame or time of day, all that stuff. If you prefer to lift weights in the morning, cardio later, or do it all at once, again, the more important thing is that you get it done than trying to be perfect.
So you don't want to be doing cardio, for example, before weights, unless it's just warm.
So again, like it doesn't really matter, right? You're not a professional bodybuilder. You're not a professional athlete. You're not a professional anything. If you just want results, as long as you do what it takes to get it done, you can do cardio first. You can do weights first. Obviously, you want to warm up. So it just depends on what you're going to do. So key compound lifts, let's dive into that.
You should always go post-strength training because you want all of your energy for the maximum lifting, the maximum strength that you can possibly muster up.
It is true. Obviously, the more, the less fatigued you are and the more weight you can lift will get you better results. But like I said, it matters more that you're going to complete both your cardio and your weight training. In here, I'm watching her form. She doesn't go down as low as she should. Her head should be back against the bench and pressing here. So
45 minutes of cardio beforehand.
But again, exerting as much force and pushing yourself harder, you can get away with being a bad lifter if you just push harder than everybody else in the gym. That arguably is going to get you better results than being perfect with your form and giving up too soon.
Not going to be able to do that. You want to be doing what's called compound lifts, and they're lifts that
compound lifts are basically major movers like squats, lunges, push-ups, pull-ups, rows that work multiple muscle groups, the larger muscle groups first. So yes, I 100% agree.
Use multiple muscle groups, so they could be lifts, they could be body actual raises.
So this is interesting. These are lateral raises and movements. This is not really a compound movement, so maybe somebody should let her know that. Squat.
So the first one
is
we're going to talk about is the squat. The squat is absolutely
perfect.
Amazing. And unless you
compound movement,
or kind of,
form looks good. She's coming forward and her knees are coming a little inward, so she might want to fix that movement.
You should be able to hip width apart, and you're going to go as low to the
That's
ground.
good form, good mechanics, good depth.
You can also do that with a kettlebell, one kettlebell in between your legs, or a couple of dumbbells.
So you can see her knees somewhat track inward. That's something you got to be careful with a woman because her greater Q angle, which just means her hips and pelvis are wider than a man. And so you got to be careful with them coming inward. That's where you lead to injuries and all that stuff. But a gym is a pretty safe environment. But you got to be careful with the tracking. So that's good. So again, you can see those knees come forward. So I'd say she should correct that. Box squats are great, especially for beginners to teach the movement. Let's skip through this.
So the classic one is either the deadlift, the RDL, the Romanian deadlift.
So stiff leg deadlift, this looks actually good. This is a good morning. Not a huge fan of that for beginners and all that stuff. It is a great lift for more athletes to strengthen the lower back out.
Do something called good morning for Whitley. You can actually
so this is a deadlift.
hurt your back, you can injure
Good movement
balance.
here,
So
straight up and
really
down. She bends her
important to
knees,
make
bends her
sure your
hips,
form is
chest
good
is more
before you
upright.
start going to do from home things like a Romanian deadlift.
This is good. Stiff leg deadlift. You can see the arch in her back here. She's pushing her hips backwards. Targets the hamstrings predominantly.
So Romanian deadlift can be done with dumbbells.
One thing you can note is her spine's not neutral. Her head's staying upward. If she kept her eyes more tracked and her head or chin down through that movement, it'd be better from
You can actually
her
also
movement.
do
She's bending her knees a little too much. I'd like to see her hips go back a little bit more.
that in programs, I actually give modifications for people who can't lunge because
Yeah.
I am aware if you can't lunge, you do need to have some sort of alternative.
Yeah,
plan.
modifications
So if
are
you
great.
can lunge
One thing that you
at
want to
all,
note is if you're alternating legs, you're not targeting that muscle for the best hypertrophy from a growth standpoint because you're switching from one quad hamstring muscle to the other. You ideally want to just do all on one side and then switch to the other side if you really care about the best bang for your buck from a muscle standpoint. Also with the lunges, you want to look at the so good form on her lunges. You can see that she's moving and she's driving more back at an angle like this. Instead, a lot of people do lunges and they do more straight and up and down movement. So let's get that out of there. So you can see she comes down and then drives back at that angle, which targets more of the glute and hamstring, which is what the lunges are supposed to do.
And Ken had really bad knees when he's if you can to do lunges without weight or using.
So leg press is a great exercise, especially for beginners, because you can press a lot of weight and you don't have to, learn a technique, how to do a lunge or a squat. It's pretty simple. You just lower it and then you press with your legs. Obviously, range of motion matters if you want to build strength in that range of motion.
As well as lunging movements, what's really great is carry movements, and if you can
Yeah, farmer carries are a great movement. It's a good thing to start with. A good,
lunge, you can actually put the two things together and weight.
Let's skip through this. Body weight.
Even if you can't do
Obviously, doing pull-ups is an extremely hard thing. So even though it's body weight, you're lifting a lot of weight, being that it's your own body weight, and a lot of people can't do that. If you do more of a horizontal row or TRX things with the rows, that would be good. And that's a great movement. Push-up, also really good. Here, thing that I'd like to see is not her. I'd like to see her body in unison to come down. I'd like to see this not rounded here and her shoulders and scapula pinched with her chest more upright. That'd be better form. Obviously, she's going more up here as opposed to keeping that over her chest.
It's just actually working your chest. It's actually working your core. It's working your back. It's working
Correct. It's working on multiple muscle groups, so great movement push-ups.
multiple muscle groups. To a certain extent, it depends how heavy you are as to whether.
So this is really good. Her shoulders are a little too crunched up here. She wants to pinch her scapula back more and downward more, and that will target more of the lats and also be just better biomechanically and more efficient. It also makes the movement harder. So the thing people forget in the gym is not to cheat or trick your body in doing more reps. It's more about making the movement as hard as possible for that muscle group, so then that muscle group gets target more and get better results.
Whether you're going to be able to achieve a full pull-up, but you can use to see people.
There's
do this
assisted
CrossFit
with bands, all that stuff. So that's a great thing to try to give you the edge.
Now,
Dips is fine.
One of them is on a bench, and that
This is obviously subtracting weight because you're not using your full body weight. It's fine. Dips here. I'd like to see your body more upright, all stuff. But it's a great variation. Again, it's not a multi-mover. I would rather have people just stick to with like more of push-ups variations and more dumbbell chest press, things like that, and not just target triceps and all that stuff. It's kind of wasted time in the gym because it's such a small muscle and most people want a bigger bang for their buck.
It's actually working working your chest, your back, and your core as well. So
Not really. It doesn't really do much for your core or your back or your chest based off of the movement. It's predominantly triceps. There's shoulders in there as well, but not your chest that much.
it's a really fantastic exercise in the gym. There are several.
If you wanted to make it more chest, you'd have to, slide your body out more and be more over the top of it, and then come down, and you can put more stress in the chest. But like a bench press or a dumbbell chest press, which she's doing here, are much
with a
more
barbell
chest
at the gym,
exercises.
Or you can do it at home with dumbbells if
Yeah.
you've got a bench.
Again, the shoulders,
Now, this
scapula
is
should be
where it
pinched
comes in.
more
If you've got
as
an
she
at-home
presses up.
gym and you've got it's gonna really improve.
So you can see these shoulders, what they do is they come forward and they round. And so that puts more stress on the body, and her shoulders are pinched up a little higher. I'd like to see all that pinched downward more, and her scapular pinched together as she presses, so it incorporates more of that chest, and will fatigue it and obviously make it more challenging.
The strength not only in your chest but in your shoulders.
Her wrist, I'd like to see more of her wrists straight as opposed that they're bent backwards. That will also make the movement more stressful on the body, make it more challenging. So you don't have to necessarily add more weight, but you challenge the body to get better results.
And also in your back. You've got one side that's stronger than the other. Doing this.
Overhead presses, good thing. Same thing. I'd like to see her shoulders press back a little bit more, press downward more as she extends up. Overall, pretty solid form. This is good. One thing to note about all these machines, because the what is this in the back? I forget. The cam is in the joint is movement in the back. You actually, all shoulder press machines, or majority of shoulder press machines, are designed improperly. You actually want to face backwards in this machine, because what you're doing is when you press up, the natural movement of this machine wants to go backwards, where if you face to the bench on this and to that cam where it rotates, you're actually pressing at a much more efficient angle from biomechanically speaking, and it's better for the shoulders, less risk for injuries, all that stuff. So that would be more efficient. Again, so remember, most overhead pressing movements, you should be facing where that joint movement is, or that cam movement of the machine goes and moves.
Row movement is absolutely amazing.
Row here, same thing. I'd like to see her shoulders and her scapula pinch back more when she rows and suppress downward, which would make her chest go upward instead of being more rounded up at the top. That's, again, more efficient for that movement. You can probably see here. So same thing here. You notice it's predominantly more arms. You want to see this here pinch backward, and her spine and her chest. And I would like to see her lean over this arm more, so this arm more straight, then have her back on the hips.
So it's really good.
So she's just using more arm than she is using that leg. Let's go back to the lat pull down. So if you see here, if you stop, so she's pulling the bar down too far. Once the lats basically touch this tricep here, they're finished. So she doesn't have to pull down this much. Again, it's making her shoulders round. So I'd correct that movement pattern, make it more efficient for her.
As your body progressing, adding an extra rep in, slowing the movement down.
Yeah, all ways to improve your results. Overall, this is a really solid video, tracking progress. Continue to progress, long-term commitment. You can see like her results and her progression, like phenomenal. Way to go, Melissa. Keep up the hard work, keep training hard. So you can see that she knows what she's talking about. Obviously, there's little tweaks here and there that you can always improve upon and learn upon, but this is a solid strength training program for women over 40. Hopefully this was helpful. Wish you guys the best. And if you need more input or insights, feel free to hit me up, comment, and subscribe, or all that great stuff. All right, take care. Bye.